Rhinos are some of the largest animals on Earth, and also some of the most distinctive. As key players in their respective ecosystem, it can't be understated how tragic the tale of the 5 modern species of rhino is when it comes to their interactions with humans. On today's episode of Endangered Inhabitants, we'll be charging into the world of Rhinoceros unicornis, the Indian rhinoceros. Rhinos of all kinds are found in the mammalian order Perissodactyla, also known as the odd-toed ungulates, as these animals are distinguished by having their weight primarily distributed on their middle digit. This ancient order first diverged around 56 million years ago during the late Paleocene. Historically, this order is extremely diverse, containing a variety of forms, including one of the largest land mammals ever in Paraceratherium, which is also a rhino. Now, however, there are only 3 extant families within Perissodactyla: the Equidae, which contains the horses, asses, and zebras, the Tapiridae, containing the tapirs, and the Rhinocerotidae, which contains the rhinoceroses. Rhinocerotidae can be broken into 2 main subfamilies: the Elasmotherinae, which contains extinct rhinos that could reach elephantine proportions, like the goat Elasmotherium, and the Rhinocerotinae. This subfamily can then be divided into 3 extant tribes: the Dicerotini, containing the 2 species of African rhino, the Dicerorhinini, containing the Sumatran rhino, as well as extinct forms like the woolly rhinoceros, and the Rhinocerotini, which contains our rhino of interest. Falling under the genus Rhinoceros, shocker, right? The genus contains 2 extant members, the Indian rhinoceros and the Javan rhinoceros. Based on molecular analysis, it is thought that these 2 diverged around 4.3 million years ago during the Pliocene. The Javan rhino is actually one of the most endangered mammals on Earth, with only about 50 individuals left, making it a prime candidate for an episode of its own in the future. These behemoths are the second largest living species of rhino and among the largest terrestrial land mammals in Asia. Males are larger than females. They can tip the scales at anywhere between 1,800 to 2,700 kilograms, or 4,000 to 6,000 pounds. They can range in length from 3 to 3.8 meters, or 10 to 12.5 feet. They sport a massive, robust frame with a large skull that is all held by short, sturdy legs, with wide feet and 3 stiff toes on both the fore and hind feet. The spine is strong and adapted to carry its considerable weight, with large vertebrae and well-developed rib cage for both support and protection of internal organs. The most striking thing about these rhinos that also gives them their name is their horn. It is composed of compacted mass of keratin fibers, the same protein our hair and nails are made up of. It typically grows anywhere between 20 to 60 centimeters, or 7 to 24 inches, with both males and females possessing them. It is not directly attached to the skull, being supported by a bony protuberance on the nasal bones. They don't use it in intraspecific combat, using it instead for foraging, manipulating objects, and self-defense. These rhinos instead use 2 sharp lower incisor teeth for intraspecific tussles. Their ashen gray skin is incredibly tough, with a thickness of up to 4 centimeters or 1.5 inches. It is covered in folds around the legs, rears, neck, chest, and abdomen. It also has lumps, known as tubercles, making the skin resemble plated armor. Other than defense, the folds of skin help increase surface area and help regulate body temperature, as large animals can have a hard time dispelling heat. Most of the body lacks hair, with it only being found on the tip of the tail, around the ears, and the eyelashes. Indian rhinoceroses live between 30 to 45 years in the wild on average. They can use those stubby legs to run at speeds of up to 55 kilometers per hour, or 35 miles per hour for short periods. Native to the Indian subcontinent in Asia, they are currently extant in only India and Nepal. They once existed in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Bhutan, but have since been extirpated. Their range often coincides with rivers, once living along the Indus, Ganges, and Brahmaputra basins. They once may have occurred in Myanmar, southern China, and Indochina in the past as well. Their habitat preferences include tropical grasslands, inland wetlands, and forests. The largest concentration of these rhinos can be found in the alluvial Terai Dur savanna and grasslands ecoregion. Indian rhinos are currently mainly found in protected areas, having both their range and habitat severely limited during the last 2 centuries. Only a few pockets remain. These guys can ingest up to 183 species of plant with strong seasonal variation. Their diet consists mostly of grasses, but they can also eat leaves, twigs, branches, flowers, fruits, and both submerged and floating aquatic plants. Some species of grasses commonly consumed are giant reeds, Indian timber bamboo, Bermuda grass, and Asian cultivated rice. Often feeding in mornings and evenings, they use their semi-prehensile lip to grasp plant stems, bend them down, bite off the top, and then consume. For the taller grasses found in the terra adira and the unfortunate saplings that look appetizing enough that cross their path, they will tackle and walk over the plant to push the end to mouth level. Like all perissodactyls, rhinos digest their food via hindgut fermentation. Rather than having a multi-chambered stomach like the artiodactyls of the suborder Ruminantia, hindgut fermenters depend on the cecum and colon to break down and extract the complex carbohydrates found in plants that they eat with the help of microbes, just like our guts. These rhinos have a complex social structure. Males are normally solitary, each holding their own territory. Females are generally solitary as well, but will associate with other females or calves and subadults in groups of up to 10, also accompanied by a dominant male. These groups congregate at wallows and grazing areas. Males will tolerate another male passing through their territory unless it's the breeding season where violent fights can break out. The leading cause of natural mortality for these animals is fights between dominant males. In aggregations, these rhinos are often friendly. They will greet each other by waving or bobbing their heads, mounting their flanks, nuzzling noses, or licking. Playing is also common as they playfully spar, run around, and play with twigs in their mouths. Males are often the instigators of any conflict that arises. They bathe regularly. They are excellent swimmers and often wallow. Wallowing in water or mud aids in thermoregulation, suffocates any ticks or parasites embedded on the surface of the skin, and their folds of their skin trap water to hold it even when they exit the wallow, which aids also in thermoregulation. There is no set breeding season, with females just feeling it sometimes. Males are often quite aggressive towards females in courtship, chasing them over long distances and even attacking them face to face. Females become sexually mature at 4 years old, and males at around 9 years old. Once the nasty has been completed, gestation lasts around 16 months. Mothers will sneak off and isolate themselves in dense vegetation to give birth, produce milk, and bond with their newly born calves. These big babies will start nursing within the first 5 hours until they're around 12 to 18 months of age. Young will stay with their mothers until they turn around 2 to 4 years old, but may associate with her regularly until 6 to 7 when they spend less and less time together. Like most mega herbivores, adult rhinoceros are basically invulnerable to predation. Only a group of tigers could even dream of taking a mature individual down. Calves are much more susceptible to predators, with 10% of calves falling victim before maturity, mainly attributable from predatory attacks from tigers. Indian rhinoceroses are listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. It is thought that there are between 2,000 to 4,000 individuals left in the wild, with an increasing population trend for the first time in this series. The biggest threat that Indian rhinoceroses currently face are declines in the quality of their habitat. This includes the severe invasion by alien plants into grasslands, reduction in the extent of grassland and wetland habitats due to woodland encroachment, and the splitting up of beetles, and grazing by domesticated livestock. The species is also inherently at risk because 70% of the population occurs at a single site, that being Kaziranga National Park. This limited range means risking the entire species, as any severe catastrophic event in Kaziranga, including disease, civil disorder, poaching, habitat loss, etc., would have a devastating impact on the entire species. While poaching isn't too big of a threat after careful monitoring of existing rhino populations, it can never be discounted as a threat to their continued survival. Poaching for use of the horn in traditional Chinese medicine is one of the main reasons that led to severe declines in several important populations in the past. I would like to thank each and every one of you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. I didn't expect the chimpanzee video to be so long, but I'm happy with how it turned out. Some animals will automatically warrant longer videos, as they have more complex interactions with members of their own kind or the environment, or both. Bear with me as I try and find a balance while also learning how to make more quality videos through my limited editing ability. That being said, we did hit 60 subscribers while I was writing this video, so I cannot thank you guys enough for at least making me develop a false sense of hope that this will work out. Just view this channel and its content as a last resort, a final gambit at happiness by a desperate moron. I hope everyone has a lovely day. Peace.